My name is Marty Silvas. I still call myself the war captain of the Isleta de su Pueblo because it is a lifetime position. This is the people of the sun emblem. The arrow represents the Rio Grande. It is a map given to us by the people in New Mexico in order for us one day to reunite and get back together again.
Marty Silvas is, or was, a Tigua Indian from southwest Texas. Trapped in poverty for generations, the Tigua Indians became rich in the 1990s. How? By curing their own social ills with what many Texans regard as another. They opened the Speaking Rock Casino in El Paso.
From an economic point of view, the casino became the new Buffalo. The Buffalo at one time was the center of Indian existence. It was their food, it was their clothing, it was their shelter, it was everything. The Buffalo supplied everything. This is the new Buffalo. It gave them an ability to earn a living. It gave them an ability to educate their children. It gave them an ability to build homes. It gave them an ability to reacquire their land base. It took the place of the old Buffalo economically.
But under Texas law, casinos are illegal. And while Speaking Rock was allowed to operate for almost a decade, suddenly the Texas government has ordered it closed. The wealth it generated, like the buffalo, has gone.
There's a lot of people that have opposed Indians from day number one. When the first European landed on these shores, there was an anti-Indian attitude as far as whose land this is and what rights Indians have. And that's...
Tom Diamond is a 78-year-old attorney and honorary Tigua. In the bad old days, people would have called him an Indian lover. Some still do.
There's no doubt about it. I've caught a lot of heck over these Indians, and people have accused me of creating them, and particularly they've said Diamond just got some Mexicans together and taught them how to dance. And I don't resent that at all. In fact, it's a great compliment. And what I've done working with these people is the good thing that I've done in my lifetime. I'm very proud of it and happy that I've done it, and believe you me, all I did was discover something that no one else could see.
40 years ago, a journalist friend told Tom Diamond about some down-and-out Indians living in slums on El Paso's outskirts.
He said, well, there's an Indian group here that's in terrible shape. All of their homes are in foreclosure. They haven't got jobs. They're picking cotton, and it's just terrible what's happening to them. The kids can't stay in school because they can't even afford shoes. The federal government wants Indians to assimilate into the whole society and to stop being Indians. And the Indians just couldn't. They refused to do it. They held on to their tradition, to their culture.
We've had to survive genocide. We had to survive relocation. We had to survive reservation life. And we've survived. We've had to survive blood quantum issues. And we've had to survive all these facets that have been governmentally imposed.
Albert Avidrez is a Tiguan leader, the tribe's governor.
For a long time, Indian tribes have been criticized and we've been viewed upon as being liabilities to the United States, never an asset. We're supposed to not be able to work. We're not supposed to want to work. We're supposed to sit, be lazy, beat on drums, live in our tepees, and hang out at home and suffer from alcoholism. What we now have in this new century is Native American communities wanting to improve their communities.
What they did was open a casino on reservation land, federal land, not Texas land, something most of America's 200 Indian tribes have done in states across the country. As they're technically sovereign nations, this is quite legal, even in states where gambling is banned. But what the Texas Indians did back in 1987 has returned to haunt them. They signed an agreement binding them to state law in exchange for Texas agreeing not to oppose federal recognition of their tribe. And as we'll see, it's turned out to be their undoing. But for a time, they never had it so good.
They were clearing $6 million a month in profits, which was going into the investments. It was going into reacquisition of their land base and acquiring service stations and commercial sites and commercial properties. And
the Tiguans shared their wealth.
This tribe was contributing more to charities in El Paso than all the other charitable organizations combined.
We helped everybody in the city.
beginning with the fire department and to the candle lighters and all these different charities. I think the tribe made clear over close to $10 million in donations.
In those heady days, Vincent Munoz was governor of the tribe, and conscious of the anti-gambling sentiment in Texas, went to see the man then running for state governor, the man who now occupies the White House.
Well, I asked him, I said, what are you going to do, Mr. Bush? I said, with the tribe, I said, you know we have a casino. What are you going to be doing with that? And he said, I'm not going to bother the Indians. I took his word. I really believed him at that time. We were campaigning for him. And Lordy behold, now you've seen the results. He becomes the president, and well, he became governor, and then he became the president, and now Speaking Rock is closed. So,
but as well as their conflict with the state, the Tigua were having big trouble in their own ranks.
I guess when the casino was open, it was too much of a change for our people. You know, too much money came rolling in too quick. People started separating, you know, there were fractions, you know, because of the political control over the money. And that was not good, you know. A lot of people forgot about the traditional way.
Suddenly the tribe's sacred drum, the ageless symbol of its identity and unity, became a symbol of its division. As war captain, Marty Silvas was the sacred drum's keeper.
The drum, I guess, is a heartbeat of the tribe. You know, the drum is a symbol of who we are. The drum is a spirit that, you know, always takes us back and takes us forward. You know, it's what keeps the tribe alive.
But appalled by the loss of respect for tradition and caught up in a struggle over leadership, Marty Silvas hid the drum. It was the signal for the breakup of the Tigua.
I held on to it. I held on to it for some time. I did as the chief ordered me to do. For doing that, we were punished.
How?
A lot of our people, especially my family, were taken out of the tribal roles. Our benefits were taken away, and we were told that we were no longer Indians, we're no longer Tiguas. It's like somebody telling you you're no longer who you say you are. Yes.
For centuries, simply surviving has been the name of the game for the Indians of these mountains. Geronimo once led the Apaches here, Apache who fought the Tigua and dismissed them as mud Indians for the adobe houses they built. Today, no Apaches roam these mountains, but the Tigua are still here, baking bread in their mud ovens, and have a much tougher enemy than the Apache, the Texas government and the conservative voters who support it.
Back in East Texas, we have a Bible-Belt attitude, born-again Christians. And they have a very strong view with respect to gambling. It's a sin. And I'm sure that is a factor in the politics of this situation, that people will see opposing the Indian gambling activities as a good political stance to take.
Let's make it official. I'm a candidate for governor of Texas.
He needed to do something showing that he was going to, he didn't allow gambling. That was one of the ways he was going to win East Texas and all the votes. I think he targeted us, and I think very unfairly. I think he lied to us. I think he's misled us.
El Paso, of course, is West Texas, far removed from the Bible Belt in the east, a town doing it hard down on the Mexican border. Because it's poor, it's always voted Democrat, not for Bush's Republicans, and local Senator Elliott Shapley thinks that's got a lot to do with it.
There is an element in the Republican Party in this state that is akin to the Taliban, where it's become a moral issue. You have a whole segment that says, we need to take care of this moral issue by shutting down the Tigua tribe in El Paso, Texas, and it's an extreme position in my view.
Who are they appealing to?
I think a constituency in the far right of their party, frankly.
We mean business when we say help we won't go.
In the eyes of the Tigua, there's a clear double standard at work. They say when the Texas government changed the law to allow itself to run what's now one of the country's richest lotteries, that allowed them to open a casino. Texas insists casinos are still banned, but the Tigua say George Bush ally and Attorney General John Cornyn is simply trying to impress conservative voters with his newfound resolve to enforce the ban.
I cannot, as the Attorney General, as the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the state of Texas, enforce the laws selectively. I can't enforce some and not others.
While the two sides slug it out in the courts, the Tigua have lost their newfound wealth.
That income stream is gone. We didn't go back to the abject poverty that existed in 1965, but we certainly took a big tumble. The tribe may be forced to sell off its assets to survive.
The economic impact has been very great, not only for the tribe, but for El Paso. 800 people lost their jobs. I think he hurt the whole area, not just the Tiguas. He hurt El Paso as a whole.
This is an important time in America, in El Paso. We cannot afford to lose any jobs. And it's real clear that the Tiguas are great corporate partners. They pay above minimum wage. They have health benefits. They have retirement options. And where are these people going to find jobs like that?
But El Paso's misfortune is that the Tigua's economic salvation came from something Texas conservatives won't tolerate, the casino. With their appeal to the US Supreme Court, the tribe still hopes to have it reopened, if only to ensure their future survival.
At one point, there were at least over 800 tribes in the state of Texas. There's 3 now. That tells you exactly what the state of Texas has done to the Native Americans of this state. I'm hoping that everything turns around and we can continue, but I really feel that the tribe will survive. We've been thrown obstacles in our face for many years, and this is just one more obstacle that we'll have to overcome.